Some people do not need to win the argument. They only need to keep pressing the same buttons until you finally react. Then they hold up your reaction and erase what came before it. Your raised voice becomes Exhibit A. The jab, the interruption, the humiliation, the repeated needling, gone. The final frame becomes the whole film. This can happen in a relationship, a family, a friendship, or a workplace. Sometimes the sequence is deliberate. Sometimes it is defensive, impulsive, or chaotic. You do not need to guess which one. Hidden motives are not required to evaluate visible behavior. What matters is the sequence. Start here. Your reaction still belongs to you. Before you decide who is the bad person, track what actually happened: pressure, reaction, attention shift, and story rewrite. If the sequence keeps repeating, stop arguing about motives and start recording the order. If it is safe, end the exchange before it captures another reaction. Leave the room, end the call, move the conversation to writing, bring in a neutral third party where that makes sense, then review your part without surrendering the timeline. If you shouted, threatened, insulted someone, or broke something, you are responsible for that. Pain does not turn harm into permission. But responsibility is not the same as accepting a rewritten history. You can repair your part without carrying every part. You can say, "I should not have shouted," and still say, "The insult that came first matters." Two facts can be true. Your reaction may need accountability, and the behavior that provoked it may also need accountability. That distinction is the entire point. Once every conversation becomes a trial of your tone, the original issue never has to be addressed. Public health guidance describes psychological aggression in intimate relationships as verbal or nonverbal behavior used to harm emotionally or exert control. The National Domestic Violence Hotline lists observable examples such as insults, humiliation, intimidation, manipulation, dismissiveness, and blaming someone for unhealthy or abusive behavior. But do not weaponize that vocabulary. One rude comment does not justify diagnosing a person or a relationship. One painful argument does not prove a relationship is abusive. Context, repetition, control, fear, and impact matter. A related pattern studied in interpersonal violence is called DARVO: deny, attack, and reverse, victim and offender. In experiments, hearing that kind of response shifted observers' judgments, making the accused person look less responsible and the person reporting harm look less credible or more responsible. That research does not let you read anyone's mind. It shows why changing the subject from the conduct to the complainant's character can be so powerful. So stop asking, which one of us is the bad person? That question creates heat and almost no usable information. Build the timeline instead. What happened immediately before your reaction? Was a clear request answered or replaced with an argument about your tone? Does the same sequence return around the same boundary, topic, or audience? When the story is retold, does it begin with your reaction and delete everything before it? What happens when you disengage? Is the pause respected, or does the pressure continue through pursuit, ridicule, threats, punishment, or a new audience? Do not collect these observations to win a prosecution in your head. Collect them to see whether you are looking at one bad moment or a recurring control pattern. The false choice is this: either defend your reaction completely or accept that the provocation never mattered. Reject that choice. Try one clean sentence. I am willing to discuss my reaction. I am not willing to erase what happened before it. Then stop arguing about motives. Stay with observable verbs: interrupted, insulted, threatened, followed, blamed, denied, raised a voice, ended a call. If it is safe, pause before your body makes the next decision for you. Create distance. Lower the information you provide. Move the exchange to a time, place, or format where the sequence is easier to see. The goal is not the perfect comeback. The goal is to stop donating fresh evidence to a story that begins at your breaking point. A boundary is not a command for someone else to transform. It is a statement of your next action. If the insults continue, I will end this conversation. Then follow through without adding a threat, a diagnosis, or a 20-minute closing argument. Afterward, review your own behavior honestly. Apologize for harm you caused. Change what you need to change. Just do not buy forgiveness by agreeing to a false history. There is an essential limit to direct confrontation: danger. If this person has threatened you, monitored you, blocked exits, stalked you, become violent, or escalated when you tried to leave, Do not turn this video into a showdown. Safety comes before being understood. Safety planning may include trusted contacts, a safer place, private access to communication, known exit routes, emergency numbers, and support from a domestic violence advocate or appropriate local service. If you are in immediate danger, contact local emergency services. A safer boundary is not always one spoken face-to-face. Sometimes it is one built quietly enough to protect you. You do not need to prove a hidden motive before you protect your attention. Your reaction is part of the record. It is not the whole record. Read the sequence, own your part, refuse the rewrite. Choose your next action from clarity, not from the final frame that gets shown.